Hello everyone, I'm Paul and today we're solving problem 3227, vowels came in a string. This is a medium one that's all about observation. So next I will show you my intuition, approach and efficient solution. Alice and Bob are playing a game. And for this game we are given a string. Let's say we're given TTTA. And Alice starts first. And on Alice's turn, she has to remove any non-empty substring from this that contains an odd number of vowels, meaning 1, 3, 5, etc. Here we have only one vowel, so Alice can choose to remove this entire string. And the first player who cannot make a move on their turn loses the game. So if Alice decides to remove this string, Bob loses. And we need to return true if Alice wins or false otherwise. So in this case, when we have one vowel, Alice wins, so we return true. We are assuming that both players play optimally, okay? So we have some information here. We know that Alice starts first. And we know that if we have one vowel, Alice wins. Now, what happens if we have 0 vowels? Remember, Alice always starts first. And in this case, Alice cannot make a move, so the winner is Bob. So when we have 0 vowels, we return false. Now, what happens if we have 3 vowels? Let's say we have this. And Alice starts first. And given that she can remove any non-empty string with an odd number of vowels, she can remove this entire string and she also wins. And the same happens if we have 5 vowels or 7 vowels or 9 vowels and so on. So for any odd number of vowels, we always return true. So if we have an odd number of vowels, we return true. And what happens if we have an even number of vowels? Now let's say we start with an even number of vowels. We start with this. And remember, Alice starts and she is playing optimally. And the best thing she can do here is to remove this, for example, and the remaining string is only this. So now it's Bob's turn and this is the remaining string. And Bob has to remove a string, a substring that contains an even number of vowels. And we only have a substring with only one vowel. So Bob loses. Now what happens if we have an even number of vowels, but this is the string? Well, Alice can decide to remove this. And now it's Bob's turn. And he has to remove an even number of vowels. So he can decide to remove 0 vowels and to remove this T. Now it's Alice's turn again and she can remove an odd number of vowels. We only have one vowel, so Alice removes this. Now it's Bob's turn and Alice wins again. So the main observation here is that if we have an even number of vowels, we also return true. Alice always wins. The only scenario in which Bob wins is if we have 0 vowels in the start. So this is basically the entire approach. Now let's go with the code and hopefully you will get the idea. The code for this is very short. That's why I told you this is all about observation. We say for every character in the string, if the character is a vowel, A, E, I, O, U, we just return true. If we reach the end of this loop and we never return true, we just return false. So this is it. It's a very short code. Now let's submit this and see if it works. As you can see, this works and it's very efficient. So if you found this useful, please drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.